Welcome to Future Talk. On today's program, we're going to talk about the field of computer-generated animation and interactivity, something that most of us come into contact with every day. We're going to look at the industry that creates this technology with my guest, Jerome Solomon. Jerome is Dean of Cogswell College, a Silicon Valley school that trains people for careers in technology with a strong emphasis on digital art and animation, as well as game design and development. Jerome had a 17-year career in Hollywood, where he worked at Industrial Light and Magic and Dreamworks Animation, received film credits for Avatar, Madagascar, and Shrek 2, and produced several top-tier video games, including Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. He's also the chairman of the 2017 SIGGRAPH Conference. SIGGRAPH's mission is to foster innovation in computer graphics and interactivity and to be the world's #1 community for creating, promoting, and disseminating information about graphic technology. Jerome, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Marty. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell me, what got you started in this field in the first place?
Well, I started programming computers at a really young age. In the 3rd grade, I started programming in a language called TI Logo, doing turtle graphics, and that's what sort of got me interested in this area.
Now, what kind of skills does it take to be in this field? What do you need to have a career in computer graphics or filmmaking?
Well, nowadays, I mean, there's quite a wide variety of skill sets that can be brought to bear to produce computer graphics, because the tools nowadays are so advanced that if you're a creative mind and you just want to do creative work, you can learn enough of the technology to produce the work. And if you have a technical mind, you can actually get in on some of the engineering and creation of some of the automation of the workflows or generation of actual technology to produce graphics.
Now, what's the hardest part? Is it visualizing what you want it to look like, or the technical part of actually making it look that way?
Well, I think the hardest part is both of them is what I would say. I mean, you know, when you are doing computer graphics, one of the biggest challenges is that you're mixing art and technology. And so you have creative forces that come to bear with regards to what they're looking for visually, or in the sense of the sound or timing of the animation. And that gets complicated because you also have technical challenges that you're trying to solve at the same time. So you're really sort of trying to put together creatives and technical people to solve a problem.
Now, we have a video produced by students at Cogswell College. This was a demo reel for the recent SIGGRAPH 2016 conference. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that reel, and we can talk over it and discuss what we're looking at. So can we go ahead and roll that tape?
So this is some computer graphics work that was done at Cogswell College. This is a short animated feature film called Trouble Brewing. This is all work created by students. We are really proud of this work because it's very high quality work. We try to put our students through a curriculum that produces talent that is industry quality. This is some concept work that's done for that same film. So you can see some of the imagery is still images that's used in the first creative parts of the process, and then we'll go ahead and build 3D models. There's a couple of character spins, some more concept work. Here you can see the wide variety of example work that's done in order to create a certain look. You can have cool work, warm work, different types of color schemes are applied. There's some animation poses there. Just trying to creatively flesh out what the characters will look like and what their attitude will be and who they will be. These are some digital paintings done in Photoshop. So the students will do high detailed 2D work in addition to high detailed 3D work. Just a horse that we built, wireframe and CG. And our students will often start working with traditional skills. So they'll learn how to sculpt, they'll learn how to draw, and then those types of skills give them the fundamental understandings that they need in order to produce work that is more advanced 3D work. So the students are really led by a group of very talented faculty, that many of them having industry experience. We have an engineering program, so that's work that was done with a Arduino device, 3D programmable LED displays, some more character animation here. Some of the work done by our game program. This is a mobile game that will soon ship on both the Apple Store and Google Play. some work done in our virtual reality certificate program. So we have a VR certificate program. It's a program looking at trying to train professionals that are interested in going into these industries of VR and augmented reality. So we have a lot of different programs at the college, and a lot of them are focused on creative skills and both technical skills. This is some work that was done out of our audio program, actually. And the students there are creating original audio tracks. So we have audio production and audio engineering program, and they'll marry that with some of the visual work in order to produce real client-based work. So that work was done for TEDxVale. We've also done work for Corning, and we recently did a large project for AC Transit.
Very nice. Looks good. Congratulations to the students.
Thank you.
Now, you spent a long time working at places like Industrial Light and Magic and Dreamworks Animation. What's it like to work in those places, and do you have any interesting stories you could tell us about your experiences there?
Yeah, I mean, working at these companies is just really, has been a fantastic experience for me. I mean, the people at these companies are so passionate about their jobs. They really love their work. But there also is just quite a lot of work to do. I mean, there's quite a lot of, there's deadlines, you know, there's managers, there's producers, you know, everything has to be met and delivered in a timely fashion. So in addition to just, you know, it being a creative industry, there still are the very central demands that you would have in any job, you know, trying to get your work done on time and trying to work efficiently. But overall, you know, the environment is really, really fantastic. I've had some really cool experiences. I've had the opportunity to be out on set before with Jim Carrey, you know, and that was pretty fun for Ace Ventura 2. And I've had the opportunity to be out on set for Kazam, which is a film by Shaquille O'Neal. And, you know, I've just met a lot of really wonderful people. Had the opportunity to be in a few meetings with Jeffrey Katzenberg, who's just a brilliant Hollywood mind. So that was always, you know, a true pleasure to work with such true professionals.
Well, in the movie business, everything has to be perfect, right? You can't have one frame on the screen that's a little bit jarring, right? They go over it because millions of people are going to see this, and if there's the tiniest flaw, somebody's going to point it out.
Yeah, in these industries, people want the work to be absolutely perfect. And so we'll go through a tremendous number of versions of the work. So you might have a shot that you're working on. You might do 68 different versions of that shot in order to really perfect it. You know, and what we like to say is that the hardest part of the work is the last like 10%. That's where most of the labor is spent in time. It's just trying to perfect the work to make it absolutely perfect. And sometimes you're even going for more than perfect. You might have something that visually it looks like real life, but that's not good enough. You want it to look better than that. Right, you know, because you are at the end of the day with this type of work, you're entertaining people, and you really are trying to meet the director's goals.
And you have competitors. You don't want the other side to get ahead of you, right? You're always looking at what they're doing, see if there's anything you can copy as far as technique.
Yeah, definitely. As far as technique, there's a lot of you know, sharing amongst the computer graphics community, especially at conferences like SIGGRAPH. You know, we get together and we'll share each other's techniques. But also, there's a lot of professionals that work from company to company. So sometimes those techniques travel automatically.
People move around.
They move around, so they bring those techniques into new companies. And, you know, that's how sort of the overall work in the industry moves forward.
Now, one of the interesting aspects of computer graphics is interactivity, where the viewer is part of the action. So how is that developing? Where are we today with regard to interactivity, where the viewer is actually in the film?
Well, I mean, we are seeing, you know, a revolution, especially in the area of virtual reality. And there's a lot of work coming out that's VR storytelling. And what's happening in the VR space is that now that we've sort of got to the point where people are seeing VR and experiencing it, virtual reality, and like looking in different worlds, starting to add different devices in order to get more input from the person that's having the experience. You might have handset controllers that interact with the story in some way, might be able to change the story. You might go to different places in the story physically, and the story will change because you're in a new place.
So in VR, you're basically wearing some kind of headset, and you're totally immersed in a computer-generated world, which is very fleshed out. You can move around in it, and maybe even physically walk from one place to the other, and the scenery will be consistent with that.
Yeah, and I mean, with VR, some of the experiences are really amazing because you can get the physical feeling that you're in that space. Like if you're skiing and you go over a jump, you'll feel like you went over a jump, even though you haven't, right? Because you're totally immersed. What you're seeing looks like you're skiing. The audio from where you are sounds like you're skiing. So your body feels like you're skiing. And when you go over that jump, you actually get that drop in your stomach from the jump.
I think they have pressurized suits now where the suit can exert pressure on your body like a real world touch to add further reality.
Yeah, haptic devices, that will give feedback based on the environment. We're also seeing VR experiences that have you might have a fan that's blowing on you, right? So as you go across a bridge, you feel the wind on you, right? So, you know, there's all types of devices and things that are being used in order to make the experience feel more real as soon as you put the headset on.
Now, what about augmented reality? Virtual reality is total immersion, but augmented reality is only partial immersion. Is that right?
Yeah, well augmented reality is definitely partial immersion. You're taking what you see and you're adding computer graphic elements on top of it, right? So you're able to, my perfect example, Pokemon Go is probably the most popular example, right? Everybody's walking around with their phones. And
walking around like zombies, transfixed on their phone, chasing imaginary cartoon characters.
Yes, yes. So Pokemon Go is the probably the most popular and well-known augmented reality application nowadays. But augmented reality actually has a lot of opportunity for businesses. So if you imagine being at your home and your refrigerator breaks, and a service person might come into your house, put on a set of augmented reality glasses, and look at your refrigerator, and the graphics algorithms be able to determine what type of refrigerator it is, what model it is, and where the parts are, so he will know what to go in and what to fix, right?
Now, you're the chairman of the 2017 SIGGRAPH Conference. What exactly is the purpose of SIGGRAPH, and what are they ultimately trying to achieve?
So the purpose of SIGGRAPH started off really as an academic conference, and the purpose of the conference is really to advance the field of computer graphics. So we have dozens of companies, including all of the major studios, all the major software vendors in computer graphics space, but also all the major research institutions, computer graphics researchers that are writing papers in order to improve the industry. And they bring all of that content and knowledge to the conference, and we share it with each other. So there's just a lot of collaboration in order to move the field of computer graphics forward.
And we actually have a video from SIGGRAPH 2016. It's all about the virtual reality portion of the conference, though there was a lot more to the conference. Let's go ahead and take a look at that tape, SIGGRAPH 2016.
The VR Village is a place at SIGGRAPH to explore ideas around interactivity, the immersive realities, embodiment, how to move in virtual reality, how to learn in virtual reality, how to perform healthcare in VR or AR, and basically be entertained, have fun, and get creative. Attendees can expect to see a huge variety of things here. When we say content, what we really mean in virtual and immersive realities is content where you get to engage with other users, multiplayer. You get to wear haptic devices, a suit, armbands, things that give you feedback about the tasks that you're doing. We've got games, so not video games, but actual games of tag with other players, other users on the floor here. We have experiences where you get to simulate what it's like to dig an archaeological site. It's really exciting that we have such a variety of installations, demos, and films coming together in one space here on the floor. VR Village is the place to try it for yourself, to immerse yourself, interact, to do it with other players and your friends, and to do it solo, and pretty much investigate every kind of immersive reality that you would expect to have in the real world. The motivation to do this year's program came largely from the idea of, all right, we've satisfied, for the most part, what we would like out of a seated VR experience, maybe watching a film in 360 degrees, maybe playing a game in 360 degrees. But what we haven't explored much is the multi-person interaction in virtual reality, where what you do impacts another user of the technology, or maybe immersive films where you can speak or you can conduct some sort of activity which then changes the course of the narrative inside of the film. So this year we have a lot of that kind of content, a lot of what I call mobile or locomotion-based virtual reality, and a lot that involves haptic technologies and the wearables, and combining all of that with the VR headset's been really exciting. We had over 100 VR-related submissions, which meant that we had to somehow whittle it down to about 20, around 20. We've got 23 here at VR Village and SIGGRAPH, and is highly encouraged again for submitters to submit their content for 2017. Virtual reality and immersive reality isn't simply about creating experience and delivering it, especially on a computer or a seated experience. It's what happens in the background or what the intent is that makes things so interesting. So a really fantastic couple of projects that are happening here at VR Village this week is right behind me, actually, an installation called Interactivity, and exactly what the title stands for. It's about finding inner peace. It's a meditative tent. You actually have to remove your shoes before you go onto it. And while it might sound a little strange to meditate in virtual reality, it takes you right out of the conference floor for about 10 minutes. People are coming out refreshed. They're really enjoying that kind of experience. Likewise, on the flip side of things, we have the synesthesia suit, which is as far from meditation as you can get. Essentially, you wear a suit, and it's got 24 points of haptic feedback from the feet all the way up to the hands. You wear your VR headset, and you get to feel the beats and the pulses of the music as you actually play this game. So this year at VR Village, this VR Story Lab initiative, it's called Lab for a reason. We are actually collecting data from attendees in the form of a qualitative survey. They're giving us feedback on things like what they thought of the venue, what they thought about doing a film circuit. What this looks like, this place, is we are advising the attendees to go through it and actually try as many of these pieces as they can. What that gives us is information going into next year when we're going to have a brand new initiative that's part of the Computer Animation Festival that immersive film can actually contribute to and be part of. So these attendees are actually going to be able to shape the course of SIGGRAPH's future just with their feedback. VR and AR technology have largely been limited to universities and institutions or research facilities where they have a much higher budget. Immersive technology used to cost quite a lot of money up until very recently. It's been really interesting to see that in the past 2 years the technology has dropped in price. Now it's actually on the shelves and you can actually plug and play at home and create content for yourself. So that's the other thing, is the ability to create VR content is so easy right now with the advent of game engines like Unreal and CryEngine and Unity. Anyone for free can go into these engines, create a virtual world, show other people, keep on learning, building, and there's a lot of great collaboration coming out of that. So it's only going to get more accessible, and it's only going to keep on getting more affordable at the same time.
That was from SIGGRAPH 2016. Now, many people, when they think of virtual reality, they think games, entertainment, but there are actually some very serious uses of it as well, aren't there? What are some of the more serious uses of it?
Well, I mean, you're starting to see virtual reality being used quite a bit in sports, I mean, military use, medicine. I mean, there are also some other interesting applications coming in the future. Like if you think about something like trying to raise money for some catastrophe that's happened overseas, right? Well, how will you raise that money? What if the person that wants to donate money to, these refugees or what have you, you can take them there to actually see what's going on, right? And then you can actually use that as a fundraising tool. So in any circumstance where getting somebody to a location to have that experience is useful, you can apply this technology.
More so than television, because we could see it on television now, but it's not quite the totally immersive experience.
Yeah, it's not the same experience as watching a TV screen, right? Because you can turn around, you can look around, you can hear things from different locations, right? You can really feel like you're there.
I think training for various tasks can be done in virtual reality as well, because if you're learning how to use some very heavy and expensive equipment, it might be very expensive for you to train on the real equipment, but in virtual reality you can get your preliminary training and learn the basics, and it's a lot less expensive than doing it with the real thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you just think about the cost of travel to go to a location to be trained. There might be some equipment in a certain location that you need to be trained on, but if you could go there virtually and get some training, then you've saved a lot of money, right? And you've also got your training.
Now, is there any risk that virtual reality might be seen as a form of escapism, like people prefer to live in a virtual world than the real world? Do you see people pulling away from the real world to immerse themselves in this fantasy?
Yeah, you know, I really haven't seen that. I mean, normally for a VR experience, you're going to do it for a set amount of time, but you're gonna leave that experience and come back to the real world. But I mean, there definitely is an opportunity for that, I think, with some people. But I don't know if it's a type of space that you would live in forever, because it's not real, right? So.
We actually have some more material from SIGGRAPH 2016. We have some still images which we're going to show. So maybe we'll show those and we'll discuss what they're about. Can we see the first slide, please?
So this was the conference, our last conference, SIGGRAPH 2016 in Anaheim, and we had about 14,000 people there, researchers, practitioners, artists of all types. That's the wonderful thing about SIGGRAPH, is that you have a chance to have so many people that are interested in computer graphics from different spaces. And this is a picture of just some attendees interacting with each other. I mean, this picture is actually interesting to me because there's a guy with a spiked mohawk and there's another guy behind him that looks like a CTO of a company. So I mean, this is like the great types of interaction that you get with different people that are interested in, all interested in computer graphics, but come from different backgrounds.
All right, now here's something. It looks like there's an auditorium and a film being shown.
Yeah, so this is actually one of our events called Real Time Live. So this is a real-time demonstration of computer-generated dinosaurs that are viewable on a mobile device called a Tango, which is some technology developed by Google that they're going to be putting in consumer phones very soon.
Okay, let's see the next slide.
This is our studio experience space. So this is our attendees interacting and building and doing things. So we have some parts of the conference that are very hands-on, and you get to actually do things and sort of like go into a lab and create things.
Okay, next.
And this is on our exhibition floor. This is one of the companies presenting their latest and greatest technology. So we have a large exhibition floor with new software and technology, hardware and other type of computer graphics equipment being shown and what it's capable of.
Okay, next.
And this is a booth set up by Nokia Ozo. Nokia Ozo creates a VR camera tool set that's high quality feature film VR experiences.
Okay, next.
This is a demonstration by Formlabs, which is a 3D printing company. They sell a very high quality 3D printer. Basically, you can take 3D objects and you can print them physically and then do things with them. This can be used for things from as distant as like dentistry, or it can be used for art.
Okay, next.
And this is a group of our volunteers in front of the piece called The Skull. This is a projection mapping demo where you have high-end Christie projectors, like 4K projectors, projecting imagery on top of a flat gray shaded or gray flat painted object, and you can do all types of wild things like, you know, show things wrapping around the skull and the skull talking, or all types of things.
So
like
that mask is not physically there?
That mask is not physically there. That's projected on a gray skull-shaped surface.
Okay, next.
And this is just different types of display technologies that different researchers and vendors have brought to SIGGRAPH to demo and see how attendees interact with it, or just to demo the capabilities.
Okay, next.
And this is our reception. So we have a large reception, which is really like a small party, but it's
like a big party.
Yeah, it's but it's a great opportunity for all the attendees to interact with some of the contributors that have made contributions, got papers, research, or technology or art into SIGGRAPH. So we all get together to celebrate that.
Okay, and I think that was the last slide. So next year you're the chairman of this event. What does that job entail? What do you have to do as the chairman of SIGGRAPH?
I've got a lot of work to do. It's a volunteer job, but it's a wonderful opportunity because I'm able to work with 20 program chairs that work with me to pull together the conference, in addition to a very highly qualified administrative staff, but there's people from Google, Pixar, Disney, Epic Games, Leica. I mean, I just got a really talented team, and each of those program chairs that take a particular area of the conference, they might have anywhere from 4 to 15 volunteers with them that pull together a particular venue.
Now, what's the cutting edge of computer graphics right now? What can we expect to see in the next few years that we don't see today?
Well, I think, you know, what we're going to see now or in the future is that computer graphics is really going through a renaissance right now. So everyday people can get access to computer graphics at a very, very low cost. So we're going to see computer graphics just in, you know, on your mobile phone, but also in your car. Anywhere where you need to interact or see things, you're going to see those things in 3D or 2D computer graphics. So the industry has really been growing quite rapidly, and it's just been all driven by the speed of the computers, but also the hardware is just becoming so fast that it's capable of doing things it wasn't capable of before.
Is the basic limitation on this field the power of the computer or the power of the human imagination?
I think the limitation is really the human imagination, because the computers are really, really powerful, and that will not change. We know Moore's law says that the computers will get faster and faster, right? And we will see everyday devices like TVs that have the compute power of $10,000 machines. That is coming. And you know, it's just a wonderful opportunity for anybody that's creative, both on the technical side, right? Because in order to be a great technical person, you need to be creative also, to, you know, add to the field and bring new things and new possibilities.
So would you recommend this as a good field for a young person to get into at this stage?
You know, I think it is. I think it is a good field, especially if you can get some technical chops. I mean, the thing is that we're seeing is that even the artists have to be fairly technical in order to do well in these fields nowadays. So I think that's the key, you know, is that if you are a creative person, that you add some technical skills to that, because you're going to need that just to do your everyday job.
Okay, very good. We're actually out of time, so we're going to have to stop right now.
Excellent.
I've been speaking with Jerome Solomon, Dean of Cogswell College and Chair of the 2017 SIGGRAPH Conference. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Marty.
Thank you for watching. Visit our website, www.futuretalk.net. For Future Talk, I'm Marty Wasserman. We'll see you next time.